Somewhere in a garage in Southern California, an Audi Q9 owner did something strange. He pulled up a service manual, found the button labeled luggage, pressed it, and watched both rear rows of seats fold themselves flat in about 4 seconds. Then he posted the video with one line of text: "Nobody at the dealership told me this existed." That's the story of this SUV in a nutshell. Audi built something so loaded with quiet, clever engineering that even the people buying it don't fully understand what they own. And some of what they're discovering, the good and the bad, is not what you'd expect from a brand new flagship. For almost 20 years, Audi tried to compete in the full-size luxury SUV war with a mid-size car wearing a bigger badge. The Q7 was fine. It was never enough. Buyers cross-shopping the BMW X7 or the Mercedes GLS kept running into the same wall, the third row. Adults couldn't sit back there for more than 20 minutes without their knees against their chest. So Audi didn't tweak the Q7. They started over. The Q9 rides on an entirely new platform, nearly 10 inches longer than its predecessor, with almost 6 extra inches of wheelbase stuffed directly into the middle of the cabin. That's not a rounding error. That's the difference between a third row that's a punishment and a third row where a 6-foot adult can actually survive a 2-hour drive. But here's what's interesting: length alone doesn't win this war. The X7, the GLS, the Range Rover, they're all roughly the same size. So what actually separates them? That's where this story gets good. Why are expectations so high for this specific SUV? Because Audi didn't just replace the Q7. They killed the A8 sedan to make room for it. This is now the flagship, the single most important vehicle the brand builds. Everything unproven, experimental, or genuinely new inside Audi's lineup shows up here first. And walking into the cabin, you notice it immediately. The piano black plastic that's plagued every Audi interior for a decade, smudged, scratched, catching fingerprints within a week, it's almost entirely gone. Replaced with open-pore wood you can actually feel the grain on, brushed aluminum, and in higher trims, alpaca wool woven into the seats. Reviewers across the board agree on this one point, which almost never happens: this is the best finished cabin Audi has ever built. But that's the easy praise. Here's where ownership actually gets complicated. Audi deleted the physical vent controls. All of them. Want to redirect airflow away from your face on the highway? You're now dragging a virtual airstream around on a touchscreen while doing 75 miles an hour. Car and Driver called it out. Edmunds called it out. And yet, some tech reviewers actually praised it, because it lets the dashboard look completely uninterrupted, almost architectural. So which is it? Beautiful minimalism, or a genuinely worse way to adjust your AC? Owners are split, and that tension follows this SUV through its entire ownership story. Now, the engine. Base model gets a twin-turbo V6 with 429 horsepower, quick enough for a 4.9-second sprint to 60. Fine. Respectable. Then there's the SQ9, a 591 horsepower twin-turbo V8 that hits 60 in 3.8 seconds. That's supercar territory in a 3-row family hauler that can also tow 7,700 pounds. But speed always has a cost, and this is where mechanics start telling a very different story than the marketing brochure. The engine uses what's called a hot V layout, turbochargers tucked inside the V, which sounds great for throttle response, and it is. But it also traps enormous heat directly against plastic hoses and wiring for years at a time. Mechanics familiar with these engine families are already flagging it after 7 to 10 years. That heat soak starts hardening and cracking components nearby. And there are already 2 technical service bulletins out for coolant pump seal failures, coolant sneaking into vacuum lines, contaminating sensors, throwing fault codes. It's not a crisis. It's a known pattern. But if you're planning to keep this SUV past the warranty window, that's something worth knowing before you sign. Here's a myth worth busting, though. A lot of shoppers assume anything with a 48-volt hybrid system and motorized doors is going to be a nightmare to maintain. The transmission tells a different story completely. It's the ZF 8-speed automatic, arguably the most trusted automatic transmission on the road today. Independent mechanics genuinely respect this unit. So the drivetrain foundation underneath all this new technology is actually rock solid. It's the electronics layered on top that carry the risk. And that brings us to the doors. Literally, the doors. The Q9's front doors open and close themselves. 90-degree swing, obstacle sensors, the whole thing. And there's a detail almost nobody mentions in reviews: step on the brake pedal after getting in, and the door closes itself automatically. Owners love it. It's the single most repeated, favorite feature across early feedback. But those same ultrasonic sensors sometimes get confused by tall curbs, or even snow buildup, and the door just stops mid-swing, refuses to finish opening until you recalibrate it. So is this brilliant engineering or a future headache? Probably both. Let's talk about what owners actually live with, day to day. Long highway stretches are where this SUV seems to earn its price tag. The air suspension automatically drops the body slightly above 75 miles an hour to cut drag. Acoustic glass and foam-packed tires kill wind and road noise almost completely. And there's a hands-free highway driving system rated up to 85 miles an hour on mapped roads. For families doing long road trips, that's the difference between an exhausting drive and a relaxed one. But that same hands-free system apparently disengages the second you leave a mapped road, a complaint that shows up repeatedly in early owner feedback. Great for interstates, useless the moment you're on a rural backroad. Now, cost. This is where the real decision gets made. Expect to lose roughly half the vehicle's value in 5 years, which is standard for this segment, not unusually bad. Insurance runs $2,800 to $3,600 a year. Fuel costs sit around $3,300 to $3,800 annually if you're doing typical mileage, and yes, it wants premium gas. Budget $1,800 to $2,800 a year in maintenance once the warranty runs out, and expect the sportier 22 and 23-inch tire packages to wear down in as little as 12,000 miles. So here's the actual verdict, the part you came for. Skip the fully loaded SQ9 with the biggest wheels. It's fast, it's dramatic, but it's also the most expensive to maintain and the hardest on tires. The sweet spot, according to nearly every source in this research, is the Q9 Premium Plus with the base V6, 4-wheel steering, and the smaller 21-inch wheel option. You get almost all the comfort, almost all the technology, a genuinely reliable mechanical foundation, and none of the compounding wear and tear costs that come with the performance package. This is a first-generation vehicle, which normally comes with a warning label. But there's no bad model year to avoid here, it's simply too new. If you're an executive family that actually needs 3 usable rows, if you drive long highway distances often, or if you're shopping fleet vehicles for executive transport, this genuinely solves problems the Q7 never could. If you're chasing off-road capability, or you're the kind of owner who wants to handle your own repairs in your driveway, this is probably not your SUV. The complexity here is real, and it's not going anywhere. The Q9 didn't just give Audi a bigger SUV. It gave them their most complete flagship in years, and also their most complicated one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for upcoming videos.